Awesome. Really
They opened
close.
with the double necks. Yep,
When was it in Chicago? Like what month?
that was show 3.
That's a great shot.
And Alex
Now
was
it's being filmed.
Yeah,
like-
IT goes in and edits.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like we had said,
But
continue back to rush.
what month were they in Chicago?
they were like 3 weeks, middle of July.
Okay.
And Alex, who's just a goofy teddy bear with fans, he was like, you could see him coming up his side of the stage. He was kind of hiding behind the speaker and all that. It was a good time. So you got to interact with
Yeah.
him.
Oh, one of the doors has the straps on it, so I think it's the right hand door. Okay, see you in a minute. Okay.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hi.
And I didn't do like a quorum check or anything, so I am hopeful that we have. Do we need one more person to make one more to make
Can
quorum?
Amanda make it? I was super hopeful Amanda could make it.
Here's some other.
I was gonna say, I haven't heard from Amanda yet.
Oh, okay.
I hope that she will. But
So this is technically a special meeting tonight.
It's a
is.
special meeting. Yes, actually, it is a special meeting because they don't normally meet in August, but they wanted to
Yeah.
continue the discussion.
Gotcha.
And then I don't know if we'll have a September. I mean, I won't be here, but I could always find someone else to here to.
I think it's a good idea for us to keep moving forward.
Yeah. But
I watched the last meeting on video.
Yeah,
2 meetings this year.
we have
Okay.
May and
I didn't miss
July.
the first one. I mean, I didn't see the first one.
It was a hello, we're here now, and hey, what happened?
Can I try and look at that?
We were talking about.
and the video didn't work for the first 30 minutes anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm assuming there's a plugin down here. Yeah. So we're
So you
there.
got dragged to Fort Worth.
They really
For
make people
something
work
that
for
didn't
it. Like drive looking nice.
we got the only one.
Hopefully in comfortable
And
hands.
It
And
was
then-
kind of unfortunate
My
because
work does is
we
great.
have been to Dallas for over a
Ramble
couple years
underneath.
Yeah.
now. And we don't travel that much, and so I don't like to repeat
And then
things.
you
I
have to
would have liked to have
flex.
gone.
Just going
I
into
would have
that
liked to have
box
gone
or
to
something.
where we hadn't been before.
In all
That was
fairness,
my
it's right here.
Oh, yeah.
But I think, it was really cool to see my husband and the kids in their element
Sure.
and enjoying it, so. And the
Oh,
drummer
very
was amazing. My husband is like the drummers. So the woman drummer, she's amazing.
Monica is great.
She is amazing. To see
she's-
her,
She's not Neil and she's not trying to be Neil, but
She's
she's
not.
filling in very well.
yeah, and my husband and son say there's some things she's not trying to do it Neil's way. But she is a
Which
really
is
good drummer in
great.
the fact that she
Yeah.
learned like 40-some songs. And she didn't have that much time really.
I mean, the other
She did the
guys,
timeline and it was like a year.
yeah, it was a learning curve. It's really impressive.
Hey, the special guest. I forget.
Yes.
I,
Hi.
Right.
look,
How you doing? Hi. Hey, Paul. How's it going?
good, are you?
Yeah, I'm good. It's funny.
I know.
Keep turning up in all the places.
Yeah.
That's
Yes,
what she does. That's good.
Thank you.
I'm an old, I used to be part of this group and my
December.
term ended in December.
Ah.
So I'm here as a public observer and, I might comment on the public record if that's available, so.
Great. Great.
She and I collaborated on the floor line with the enterprise
Storm
initiative.
Sound
down in
Transit together.
Oh, great night.
Yeah, we were, power planes.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, helps save light rail for the east side.
Yep. Yeah, you got the troops together and driving the vans down to the meeting.
Literally.
Yep. Yep.
Hello, Councilmember Johnson. Okay, I'm not sure where to connect.
Hello.
Maybe that one. And working to connect here. There we go. Oh, Amanda is on her way.
Okay.
I don't know what that means because she said I just got out of a long committee meeting. So she's on her way.
Yeah, she
I
works
don't
in
know
like
where.
Kirkland, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Okay.
And
All right.
the mayor is also planning on joining us.
How are
He'll be
you?
here shortly. I'm good, thank
Good.
you. How are you?
I'm good. I am looking for a file to begin. And it is leaving me. So is a connection. All right, well, let's just get started. We do have quorum, so we can go ahead and jump in. Call the meeting to order at 5:03 p.m. on August 11th. Okay, first, would anybody like to make a motion to approve the agenda?
I can make a, yes,
Fabulous.
make a motion to approve the agenda. Second.
Everybody in favor say
Aye.
All right, and then how about meeting minutes for the last meeting? You guys see those?
Yes, or do we care? Do we need to go in order? Should we do
I
those?
was gonna do
Come
that
back up
next.
to public comment.
Yeah,
Want to approve?
I make a motion to approve the minutes from July 14th.
I can second that.
everybody in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Do we have any public comment? We have two participants there, but I'm assuming that's
One is the computer.
the computer. Yeah, and so.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Paul Swem, former member of this group. Just thought I'd drop in and say hello. And I want to give a reaction to, I watched the last meeting on video and I understand this to be a special meeting. Just kind of a 40,000-foot view of the value of this group to the city is what is on my mind. There's a variation of function versus people versus process that goes on with the committees and groups under the city. And to me, this is some groups are very, let's get through the agenda and this is our function, this, that, and the other. To me, this is really a perfect blend of people and process, this group. And I don't know how learned everyone in this room is on the mission statement, the function of this group, and everything that it involves. A couple of years ago, we went through a recalibration of what that means. And I want some of the intangibles that I think this group brings to the city, other than its called out components in its mission statement, are how it is a liaison between the community and City Hall. This is a very boots on the ground kind of group that brings items that bubble to the surface and brings the issues and the concerns and really the parks and activities to City Hall. And in that regard, it's also valuable as a breeding ground or I guess, cut your teeth kind of ground for folks that want to see if they want to get more involved in city politics, which is what it represented to me. You know, being on it for 11 years and not figuring out if I wanted to go to planning commission or council, I was comfortable being part of this group.
Right.
And so, I think that's a very valuable aspect to it, in that, if somebody is curious and wanting to get involved, in civics, that it can teach them a lot about that. So I'm here really just as an observer. I'm not here to obstruct or take over the meeting or whatever, but if at any point, I was planning on sitting here during the meeting, and if at any point you want to throw a question at me, I'm happy to give a reaction. So,
Yeah.
But I'm here because this group is valuable to me, even though I'm a former member. So that's it.
For this meeting, in light of Paul's years and years of service, I'm going to say everybody can involve him in the conversation at any point. We don't need to have a formal recognition of a visitor in this case. So,
All right.
Okay. Thank you.
I don't
Thank you
vote
for
on
being
anything.
here. You don't vote on anything. You quit that. Well, I mean, just in response to that, even though we don't comment on public comment, I'm totally going to. You have served for so long in this role, and I know you've been through a lot of stages, and you have done a lot of work. You, too, are the reason this committee still exists. And there's not any time that I work on this group that I don't think about that. So I'm glad you're here.
Much appreciated, and you can reach out to me anytime. So
Okay, thank you.
absolutely.
Well, we have a really, really, really long list of agenda items tonight, all 2 of them. Let's see. Well, we do have room before we get started on the next things for a council liaison report. So let's see if there is one. Councilmember Johnson, do you have a liaison report for us? There.
Hello, sorry, can you say that again?
Our next up on the agenda, on our
Hi.
agenda is a council member liaison report, and I'm wondering if you have anything for us.
Yeah, so just real quick, the council well, not the council, but the city does have this is just FYI, a new police chief, Scott Miller. So we're excited to have him on board. The council also took a vote on whether or not to send a ballot measure for a levy lid lift to the voters, and the council decided not to do that. So they'll make things interesting for a budget conversation. But I think that those are the only 2 things that I wanted to share. I'd be happy to take any questions if you folks have anything for me.
Yeah, is there anything that you can share about Jeff leaving the city and like plans for a replacement or a timeline for that?
Yeah, we can't discuss personnel matters.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, but what about like a time replacement for a replacement? Is that, I don't know, just.
That'd be a mayor question, because city personnel are kind of taken care of by the administration, not necessarily the council. So if the
Okay.
mayor wanted to field a question about that, then that's his prerogative.
Okay.
Yeah, but I just wanted to be clear, Jeff is not separated for cause, separated without cause. He has given fantastic service to our city for 9 years, and we have nothing good to say about it.
Okay. Yeah.
And in the interim, it's Phil Bennett.
Yeah, our interim director is Phil Bennett, who was the former deputy
Right.
director.
Well, I appreciate Jeff's service, and I'm always excited to see Phil in any role. So
You just like his accent.
I just
Me too.
like his enthusiasm for what he does and his knowledge for what he does. Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard, hard not to like.
It's hard not, yeah, see, we all agree. Everybody who agrees. No. All right, let's see. With that, should we ask for a staff liaison report, even though it's not here? Is there anything?
The special events report.
Yeah,
I can do
that's
that.
it.
Yeah,
Let's do it.
summer events are officially kind of over for the city. The movies and music, it was an interesting, challenging year for those events, particularly the movies. Very lightly attended this year, much to my dismay. The first one, there was a little bit of rain. The second one was great weather. I think it was a movie choice. I think it was a little niche. It was School of Rock, which I did run by a team here, but I think it was a little niche. The last one, great weather, but we were on the tail end of the smoke. And we met all of the requirements. We were fairly well under, and there was a lighter crowd there as well. So then the two concerts, Petty Thief was last year they played. They were our highest attended. This year they exceeded that number. And then the second group was Nightwave, which I did book last year, and they were having a summer of their amazing summer. They're playing everywhere this year, so I felt very much on trend. And they like yes,
Good job.
yay, Nicole. And it was our top attendance probably around. Well, we had someone who counted person by person, and then we had someone to put a picture in by AI, and there was over 600 people there.
Wow.
I got some really good feedback from a gentleman regarding the movies. He wanted to know why we did them at Jeannie Hansen versus Community. There was a couple of reasons why it moved to Jeannie Hansen, one of which was the screen used to be put up on the basketball court, which is now a splash pad. There were some other issues where I was asked to move it. I think Jeannie Hansen is an absolutely beautiful park. The setting could not be prettier. The way that screen is, it's just the logistics of it. It's wonderful. But this gentleman really gave me some food for thought and wanted to know why there was no, well, let me say one thing. He said, nobody can really walk to this event. And I'm like, I kind of disagree. Like people that live near Jeannie Hansen, and I do try to create equity. Like not everything has to happen in community, right? I want to create some equity, whether it's Centennial, whether it's community. Like community is not our only, community park, we call them. But the one thing that he swayed me on, which I can't dispute, is just the ability to help the businesses, which is what I hear all the time. And so I felt even actually remiss that I had missed that, but I was being tasked with keeping it at Jeannie Hansen. So it kind of wasn't even in the conversation for me. The conversation has shifted. And so I will more than likely be moving the movies down to Community Park in the same area. I'm probably going to do a smaller screen that's more cost effective because I'm cognizant of the costs involved and then the activation and the people, right? That always weighs on me. So I'm going to do that for next year. I don't know the number of movies yet. We're in a budget situation right now, so I'm evaluating well, the city as a whole is evaluating things. So if things go forward and there's movies, that would be the location.
Have you, pending budget, have you thought at all about canceling the movies and just doing music in the park?
That has been a conversation with my team that we've talked about. When I weigh the costs and the expenses, if that is something. People often ask me why Thursdays, not Fridays. It's a staffing thing, but it's also people leave town on the weekends. And other cities do weekday movies with success. So I'm not sure if this community is just not embracing it. I'm not sure if it's the movie choices this year. Usually a Disney movie really does it, or a Pixar, or some of the blockbuster. Yeah. So there is a method to my madness. If you can't tell by the conversation I'm having with you, I give this a lot of thought, and I am a good steward of city funds. But I also want to activate the community. I want to help them. I want to bring family-friendly activities. But anytime that I do events, I'm also looking at how does it help the community and the economic development. So these are
Does the city have a sponsorship for the concerts? or movies?
I don't typically do sponsors. I am able to do this with the city budget. Some of the reason why I don't do, well, I take that back. I get a $3,000 sponsorship from King County Parks for the movies. I've been getting that the last several years, so that's a really nice thing. But this valley is rather small, and there's a lot of nonprofits that are competing for sponsorship dollars throughout the year. And so I have just kind of taken myself out of that competition to allow the money to flow a little freer between everybody, because I can do what I do with the budget that I have.
I'm only asking that because in my role, I sponsor concerts in the park at Duval, Woodinville, Bothell.
I would never turn down
Yeah,
sponsorship.
And it's been like going to like Snoqualmie Valley Hill, asking them. And then giving them the opportunity to set up a booth and throw their logo on it.
Yes.
And so there's, you know.
And that was something that I did the first couple of years that I was here, and then COVID happened and I kind of backed off of that. And I am not opposed to that. And if that was something, direction I got from leadership that let's seek that out, you know, I would definitely entertain that.
Remind me what the cadence is of movies, of events in the park.
I usually start music, movie, and it's usually 2 and 2. This year I had some extra money in the budget, and the mayor had kind of tasked me in a way of more events. And so I thought, okay, let me do this. I have ironically backed off the last several years of doing things in August, specifically because of smoky events.
Right.
So I felt like, you know, Murphy was telling me something this year, you know, Murphy's Law. So that's another part of the method to my madness.
Right.
It's so hard though, because then it's just sandwiched into really like last week of June and then July weather-wise.
Right. And that is a challenge for anybody doing events in the Pacific Northwest, outdoor events. I mean, I am pained when I see rain and the weather any day of a week in this area because of my colleagues and people that I know and the things that they're doing, because we have such a short window and there's so many challenges.
And that's on par to all the like concerts in the park, the cities around the area. It's actually just like 5 weeks in July.
Yeah.
Like the city, we had to cancel the National Night Out last week because of the smoke. You know, and like I know the city of Carnation moved it into a school, and we were asked how could we do that? Well, our event is the vehicles. We can't really move vehicles into the school. So there's just it's really unfortunate. And when you plan for something, you know, and it doesn't go off, that's painful.
Yeah, there's nothing quite as much fun as putting a lot of work into something and then it just not happening.
Yeah.
That's just,
Yeah.
it's so wonderful
Yeah.
and encouraging as that, but you plan wonderful events. So
Thank you.
I appreciate, and I'm really excited to hear that the movies, the bands were incredibly successful.
They were great.
Incredibly
I mean,
successful.
and I saw a lot of people getting takeout, going to restaurants. The restaurants on center that had outdoor seating. I walked as far up to William Brassey and St. Scholars. You could hear the music and still hear the people that you were talking with.
Yeah.
And so I think it's a good thing to help those businesses.
Well, then moving the movies back to community park might be good for that too.
That's
So,
what I'm thinking. Like maybe
yes,
people could
a
have
little more
some dinner,
action
do some
and-
takeout, then go get on the lawn. And then
Yeah.
the sound would be playing to businesses, not residents.
Yeah.
So there were some noise complaints when we were at community before, which I am cognizant of. But I also, the other side of that is there's 3 nights in the year where we go beyond 10 p.m. sound ordinance, and that's red, white, and boom in 2 movies. And so that's when you're activating, especially youth and families, that's sometimes you're like, you know, and they don't usually go beyond 11:30.
Okay, one more thought. I just went to City of Duval concert in the park a few weeks ago, and they had 13 Till Midnight, which is the Taylor Swift cover band.
Oh, wow.
And they had all the police officers from the city out there with bracelets, all of their arms, and they were trading out these little bracelets with the kids. And I've never seen so many families and little kids like engaging with the police officers.
So sweet.
And they also had our youth network was there, and I don't know what the other nonprofit was, but they were passing ice creams to all the kids. for like hours, and they had a food truck. And I just thought, what a cool environment
Yeah.
to have, like, with the engaging police officers too. So,
Yeah, I think that this last year or so, we've had more city booths and different engagement and the music. And I think this would be a really good outreach opportunity for people to come and talk to Mona Davis, her team, or we had Green Snoqualmie there. They usually work the event with me and then they're able to promote their event. So it's that engagement has been really good this year. And I personally don't want to see it turn into this huge tabling festival. I want to keep it smaller, kind of organic, but I think those are some good opportunities to have that.
Yeah.
Mona Davis.
Mona Davis is a community development director.
One of the things that was talked about a lot when the tourism group was working on strategy was stacking things together. And it's actually one of the, if you kind of do an assessment of the community, there's a lot of kind of gaps in putting things next to each other that normally go together, you know, kind of like a movie theater and a bookstore. You know, like they feed each other, a restaurant and a place to like play video games or, you know, that kind of stuff. We have some real opportunities and some real need for things that fit together to benefit both. And so putting those events in the area with the businesses is just like a strong way to do that. And then to throw in a little bonus of like engagement with the police officers is like, okay, now it's gold. Yeah. Anyway.
So the only thing I will say,
yeah.
the next event will be on September 12th. It's a partnership event between the city and the chamber.
Okay.
It used to be rebranded this year. It was Snoqualmie International Block Party. It's the Snoqualmie Street Fair. That's a great event. And the bulk of the work is done with the chamber, but like the vendors are really coming in. It's shaping up to be, it's always a good event every year.
I was super excited to see that the go-kart race was back because I know last year, and was it more than 1 year or was it just 1 year that it was canceled?
I believe it was 1 year and we made a valiant effort to try to bring that event closer to the street fair, but they just couldn't get the slope on the road. And so they're going to be, that event is usually, I want to say that's May, I think. So they did at least 2 the same weekend. And so we're hoping that that activation up by the police department on Douglas and then people will be able to attend the street fair.
Yeah, it's, unless it changed since I saw it, it's happening just right before the street fair happens. So it just feeds right in. And so that was another stacking thing that I was very excited to see.
Well, and also like, and behind the scenes stacking thing internally, I'm able to stack the staffing to not only support that event, but they're also working the street fair. So we're not having to have resources at 2 different weekends. So that stacking works as well.
Nice. I really was so excited to see that. I'm like, when it left, I was like, no. So, and to see Dirtfish and other sponsors, Safeway. Thank you everyone for doing that. All right. Now to our long list. Do you have notes from last time? Anyone? No. No, it's okay.
The minutes?
No, the piece.
Yeah.
Okay. That. All right. Our first thing that we're doing is just going through purpose and process. And I'm hoping everybody had kind of a chance to look at the conversation. And
are we going to
that
be
we
walking
can
through that document? Would it be good to just have it, to pop it up?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm trying to pull it up. I can't.
Are you able to pull it up? Do you have it?
Let's see.
I'm
I
looking
haven't done this
all
in
of
a
them.
really long
Paper
time.
copy.
Sure. Thank you.
It's still on the laptop. They share.
Yeah, I got
can
it.
share
I haven't done that in such a long time. Someone's got to walk me through it.
Should I just send this to you?
No, I'm not
There,
in our
it's gonna
old
be my
one. This is what
IT
Renee
thing.
brought
Ah,
the-
Look at this.
like a new way to what we're being tasked with this time. Wow.
Yeah, that's like, is someone gonna get shocked by that?
I'm like, I don't think I can use that.
Yeah.
That's not for me.
Oh, you don't. What is
I don't have one of those, sorry.
Really? So,
Nineteen eighty-nine.
that case, you better send it to her.
Okay.
that's for my 70-inch television.
All right, share. Nope, that's not gonna do it. Let's see. Is it
NWIE.
NW, I think. At Snoqualmie? All right, I just shared it through Google with you.
To my email.
Usually an email notice goes, but I'll send it that way too. Okay, that is on its way. 2 ways.
Who wrote this?
Time.
Oh, okay,
The draft for us to
okay.
work. It's a working draft, not a final.
Do you have a copy so I can look at it and I can't go with my phone? My outlet.
Yeah, I know. I meant
Oh,
to
it's not.
read them
Do you have another email?
again, but I did not.
Yeah.
Get
Can I
that far.
let me send it to you the personal one?
Mrs. Amanda Frame.
Okay.
You, I think you have that, so it's the MRS. And then you just use, you know.
Right?
I don't know why it's not showing up at Gmail.
Yeah, Mrs. Amanda Frame and gmail.com.
There we go. No problem.
Did you bring it up?
The password.
Yeah, I have Outlook on my phone for the.
I have the same problem. Yeah, I have a personal one, a working one, and then here.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's like, I can't handle it.
Yes.
I don't know which one to go to.
What is your email? I'll send it to your email.
Yeah.
Okay. What is your email?
Yeah. It's a letter L-E-H and
One more time.
A.
A-L-E-H.
Okay, someone gave me tech support here.
Perfect.
I opened it up,
Okay.
it's right there. It's like, then how do I thought it. It's strange. Well, I want to share it because
Okay.
it's right there.
Thanks
I
so
know.
much.
Okay. Yeah, I slept. Since I'm off in the summer, I make dinner like next.
Okay, we have it on the screen. Do you guys?
Oh, there, okay.
Maybe it's sharing now. Can you see that, Councilmember Johnson?
Yes, I can.
Hey, we're good to go.
Wonderful.
We're in business.
All right.
Okay.
Let's just scroll down to the first section.
Mind if I ask a stupid question?
Sure.
Why are you going through this process?
Because the work that was happening last year where we were reviewing ongoing projects that Parks was working on was not the only focus that we've been asked to continue with. So we are looking at like, what is our purpose for existing? beyond just the function of what we do. And then, as you said, boots on the ground, but what product is coming out of what we do when we finish the end of the year, maybe not this year, when we finish the end of the year, what is different? Because we're here, and so more than feedback on maybe a design for a park, but what can we initiate and what work can we do? Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay.
Did the old mission statement not shed enough light on that?
I think that, so I've only been part of the committee for last year and this year. So my experience last year was that we weren't quite getting to all of what was here. We've shifted from parks as our main contact to events as our main contact. And so this is an opportunity to align this work with city goals and with more that activation piece, the community building, and that's in there. Like what roles can we help fill that are already in line with what the city has said its priorities are.
Okay, so I'm looking at the foundational purpose and a question
Yeah.
based on what you just said. So
Yeah.
you said that Parks basically is no longer here, but Nicole is here and the events planning, and it says what we are not, an events planning committee.
Right. We are not. We are a ideation, seeing, communicating, the same look at like what is missing, what could be done to be added, and researching, asking the city for information would help us develop a recommendation. We don't plan them, but we do outline events that fall into purposeful categories so that we can send them to the city. Well, send them to him so that he can figure out who might actually execute them and how that would fit into the city's goals. So we are not the one who makes the call to the bouncy house vendor and makes sure that they show up with the right stuff. But we can say, hey, there's an opportunity for teenagers. There's kind of a gap in our community for activities for teenagers, and what activity might we bring in, and what do we need to know in order to figure out what that should look like? And then it moves on from recommendation to the city to decide what to do with it. And if that has changed, please let me know. No?
Well, I'm happy to comment. I get you guys going.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, you guys are getting it. I take commission work incredibly seriously, and I want your work to have results. So the question is, how can you have the biggest impact? I think it's where you let the city know things that the city hasn't. Okay, so Nicole, that's great that you do two bands, but we really wish that you had jugglers. You really need to have jugglers. And she says, huh, never thought of jugglers. And then we sort of decided you could decide as a group to say, here's why the city really should be doing jugglers. So it could be events, could be, why is it that you guys don't have a dog park on the ridge? You really should have a dog park on the ridge. Here's, why we think that. No, it turns out.
We have had those conversations. Yeah.
Oh, you had those.
We have had those
Yeah.
conversations.
Yeah.
And we went up to look at it.
But we
Great.
did like a field
Great.
trip, everything.
Nice. So, so those are going to produce outcomes that are different than would have happened if you weren't here. That's what I'm hoping for. So here's the thing. We have staff that go and put on events. We don't need help supervising those staff. We get feedback on events. We don't necessarily need help getting that feedback. We go and do that. There may be feedback we don't understand. You maybe could help us understand that. Like, we don't understand why this happened. You guys have any thoughts? So the struggle for me is, how do we make this commission do things that the employees aren't doing, that city council isn't already doing, and therefore make a difference in what happens? So that's what I'm looking for. What I've seen is, well, we looked at which parks you're going to redo, and just to be honest, hey, we showed the plans to the Parks and Events Commission, and then I asked questions like, well, if they told you your plans were wrong, would you have changed them? Because if the answer is no, then my question is, then why are you wasting their time? So I'm not saying that happened, but that's my question is, how are they making a difference? And if all you're doing is sort of doing what you would have done anyway, and then you're wasting people's time. And I'm not a fan of that.
To your point, just the parks as an example, when this was brought up to us, Emily had suggested, I think it was either Emily or Hadley, the communication board. And so at Cottonwood Park, it now has a communication board there. And I don't think that would have been in place had it not been suggested. And I think you had brought a picture of it as well, right? And showed like the group, here's what it could look like. I've seen this at other parks. It's like that is already working. And so we have.
I bothered Dylan about it again last week, asking about Centennial Park.
Yeah. And it looks amazing.
That's what I'm hoping for.
So, and those are things just like with the parks. Just like with the parks, advising from this group, those parks were qualitatively different because of the feedback they got from this group. They came in with basic ideas and some possible alternatives, and we talked about what moms and kids need that aren't here, and what different age groups that are and aren't represented, and design. So every time I walk by Hoff Park, I'm just like, we did that.
So
Dylan started it. It wouldn't be that park without this group. So that is, so I think that was meaningful feedback. And I also think that the insights about trail signage and things like that are important. I think our input on the dog park was important. At the same time, what happens after that input is we kind of keep asking where is that? Where is that? And I think that we can focus on filling more gaps and doing less, what's the status?
Well, the thing that we've been running up against is every time that we come up with an idea to initiate, we're told there's not room in the budget for it this year. Maybe when the budget's looked at, I can't remember if it's in 2027 or 2028. So we're like, all right, where else can we go? Like parks wise. Yeah. And so it's interesting. It'll be interesting to look at events, because I feel like it's kind of been the same thing. We're told it's an awesome job.
Yeah.
And we've been like, hey, how can we help, or what can we do to support? And she's like, I feel like I've got it covered.
Right.
So we're like, okay, well, we can, I think this conversation will be really good and positive to generate possible other ideas in the events area, if that's where we're supposed to be headed. But I do think it might be a good place to start with people's like actual ideas of what we want to get done, and then kind of back up from there and rename us and relook at purpose.
Sure.
Because I came with ideas, but they've been ideas that I've presented before, and I've been told, hey, no, this is not going to work, because we just can't like attack that this year.
My understanding was that part of the difference is that instead of going to somebody who already has a full-time job and a structure, that we would be going to somebody who can figure out where something might fit on a bigger picture level and help navigate that piece of it, of whether or not and what and how.
Yeah, so I love this conversation. You're just hitting dead center on what I hope for. So I will say this, if you're following up with staff, please stop. I don't even do that. I don't let elected council members do that. That's like, tell us, you're not getting stuff done, guys. That we need to hear, but let us supervise the staff. That's what she's here for. That's what her job is. We need to know if we're not getting it done. We don't need you to do it for us, but we need you to tell us if it's not getting done, and we need to get on the stick and get it done. So that's right, because you don't supervise employees. Frankly, I guess they work for me, but
So you would rather us go to their supervisors, just if we're asking like, hey, how's it going? What's the process like? Like when, for example, communication board, who's applying for grants. And so he knew that it would take maybe a year or so. And I'm like, all right, there's this awesome one at Cottonwood. How's it going for community park? I'm so sorry. So sorry. I'm asking you about it again. I would so much rather talk to Dylan, who I have a relationship with, and just ask about something like that than reach out to anybody who's above him and be like, hey, do you know the status of this?
yeah, no.
And have them then
What I
talk to him
want
about it.
is things that you guys decided as the commission are things that should be city priorities. If we come back and say, yep, we're gonna do that. I want us reporting to you. I don't want you reaching in the staff. I want us reporting to you. You shouldn't have to follow. We should bring that to you. This
Okay.
is here's our status.
You don't want
It is a
serial
protocol,
meetings.
right?
Yeah.
Because, what's that?
Serial meetings, like having just like one-off meetings with people, sidebars.
Yeah, there is that, and then you tell the other, there's that. I'm more interested in kind of the protocol issue of, look, our staff have to meet with their bosses, right? Just think of your own life. And so we have had problems, and it happens all over cities, all over the place, where you start to get this confusion as to who's, like, who am I supposed to answer to? But that's just sort of like, we don't need to worry about that. The things that you're following up on are because they're important. We need to have a process by which we make that work. So you shouldn't have to make that call. We should be coming to you and saying, okay, here's the things, here's the status, here's what's going on. And then you can say, great, that sounds great. Wait a minute, that's not the same as what we're seeing. Or what about this? Like, so give us guidance on how we should be kind of supervising that, making that happen, or feedback that, hey, you think that's happening, but just so you know it isn't.
Well, I think in all fairness, that's absolutely what was happening last
Right.
year. It's just our meetings have been so different this year that we don't have, we used to have like regular updates on things that we were working on.
So that's fantastic. So let's
The
let's
staff
head
is
in that
excellent.
yeah.
I know. We all know that.
Yeah.
It's a question of like, let's do this well. So, but I do want to talk a bit about. So let me give the example of what we're doing with the Economic Development Commission. Okay, so the Economic Development Commission meets monthly. They put in 2 hours a meeting, actually I think an hour and a half a meeting now, but here's what they've done over 10 years.
Yeah.
They got into a thing where every year the commission members would go, by the way, there is sort of this idea that was mentioned briefly earlier that you shouldn't do things. I'm not sure I agreed with, I wasn't sure what I was hearing, but there is role for you. But I'm going to talk about this in a minute. So Economic Development Commission would go out and they would do a survey of all of the businesses in Snoqualmie. So individual commission members, they'd come up with a survey, they'd all agree on what the survey was, and they'd divide up all the businesses amongst the commission members. And they'd go out and do these interviews, fill out these forms, and then bring it back. You can imagine the amount of work that went on.
Yeah.
Forming the questionnaire, gathering the input, staff would compile the input for them. And I watched this happen year after year when I was on the council. And you know what happened with that input? Not a dang thing. And it just, I don't know if broke my heart is quite the right way to say it, but I just found it just, how on earth are we wasting these people's time? So let me tell you what we're doing this year. I went to the commission, I said, I want to know, please tell me 2 things. Back up. I told them I have almost no staff for community development. I'm trying to get more staff. I don't know if we'll be able to fund it. We have been able to fund a little bit more, but there's a little bit more staffing. But here's the thing. You can ask us questions. By the way, they go into meetings, that committee, Economic Development Commission, and they say, we'd like to know what the vacancy rate is. And we'd like to know, and questions, we come out with a long list of questions. And there's no staff to ever get any of those questions answered. those questions never got answered. So what I said, and the staff was always in kind of a turmoil. Are we supposed to be going and getting all these answers? Or are we supposed to be doing the work that we were assigned by Mona? So here's what I asked the commission. I said, please, would you come up with a list of your top priorities? Can you pare it down to 10 or less that are your top priorities that you think should happen in economic development in Snoqualmie over the next year to 3 years? They did that. They went through the whole process. They kind of debated. They kind of came up with this list. Then I asked them, okay, now pick 2 of them that we can get something done this year, and I will commit staff resources to doing those 2. So they picked the 2. They were get downtown Wi-Fi. And as y'all aware, we did that. We found money in the budget. We squeezed some, we found some, and we found a way to pay for it.
Mhm.
And the second thing is they want to look at, they call it activating Falls Avenue. Do you know which one that is? That's the street. Y'all know where it's
Yeah, we,
the street that the.
we talked about this at the last meeting.
Did I bring this up?
You did.
Okay.
That's
So,
all right, doesn't hurt to hear it again.
So we're now putting staff resources into what can we do there? We're looking at things. I won't go through the whole list, but we're now finding out, okay, should we turn into one-way street? Should we turn into pedestrian only? Should it be pedestrian only certain hours? Should we put lighting over the whole street? Should we change the parking? Should we put things so that we hide all garbage
Yeah.
containers?
Receptacle,
There's a big
yeah.
issue. There's a big wall that's the back of the
Farmers market.
buildings. What's that?
A farmer's market back there.
Uh,
Close down the
There is
street.
some discussion of that, although I think they're more talking about like something in the winter time. But anyway,
Yeah.
there's all these. So we're now working through trying to do some of these things. And which of those things should we do? Right? And they're helping us with going and talking to the businesses on that street. What did they think would work for them? And then we're going to come with, okay, what can we do actually between now and December 31st? And then what can we try and do next year? And then we're going to put the money. And then I'm going to go to council with my proposed budget and say, please fund this. Here's how much money we think it'll cost because we put into it. So to your point, turn it into the request that came from the commission that becomes the thing that we think, actually, let's go make this happen. If we give a big list to Nicole on events, we give her 20 things we think could make her events better. She'll take that list and she'll consider it. And some of those may come into what she does next year, and some of them may not. Some of them may be too much work for her to even find out about. But if we can focus in on, look, here's some things we want different, that this could really make a difference. I know you already did this, but give us a dog park on the ridge, something, those kind of things. And then we go, that turns into something we actually make happen. That's what I'm hoping for the group. And so, I think you guys are working towards what does that all mean specifically and which things are or are not. But that's my hope, is that you'll come up with just a couple things for this year and we'll go try to make those happen. That'll go into the budget, or like in the example of the Wi-Fi pilot, we'll go squeeze some money out of the budget to do it this year, or put it in the budget for next year when we make it happen. So hopefully that
Okay.
makes
So,
something done.
and there is kind of this blurry line between us providing kind of community feedback on an existing event. Hey, we saw this thing at another event and it was really cool. And there are those things. And then us actually saying, oh, this event that isn't even happening yet, let's find out more about that and make a recommendation or work towards and see if we want to make a recommendation on that. So there's kind of a blurry line between those two things. Personally, I would like to see us lean more towards the second and a little less towards the feedback about existing and looking for me personally, updates on things that are happening. Like I would love for those to be, I don't know, quick and dirty. Like,
Frankly, I'd rather give you a written report than have staff just run through us. Look, I'm not trying to cut you out.
Yeah.
What you need to do what you're doing.
Yeah.
I want to support you, but I just want to,
make sure
Nicole.
that it's
So
purposeful.
Nicole referred to this staff earlier, she went back. Here's the truth. Nicole's the staff for events.
Mhm.
It's one person.
She's there at every event.
She's there at every
She's
event.
the one.
You guys, she plans these events.
Conversations with herself.
We worry about her sometimes when we go by and there's this muttering going on and back and forth. So we keep an eye on her, but no,
Well, I have no staff, I have no team, but I do usually have like a parks person with me if there's electrical, but you're right,
Yeah.
she
I don't
has to
have an event.
organize those people.
I don't have an event, I do.
So she does all of this. She thinks of things, she tries to improve them, she tries to critique them, and just so you know, we've all gotten used to her. She's so dang hard on herself. Awesome, but chill out and let's just, let's make things better and not like sometimes, like stop beating yourself up. Like the fact that she didn't get big turnout at the last movie. She downplayed it. This is, this worries her. What the heck? Did we do this wrong? Was it the movie? What was it?
Smoke. I mean,
So-
it was just residual smoke concern.
I bet it was.
Yeah.
But the point is she-
People weren't sure
Can I
yet.
just have your
Well, hold on, let me just finish. So the point is just, she spends this time, she doesn't have a staff. You guys can be that reflection, give her that input.
Yeah.
Now, if it turns into you should do this, this, and this, she's like, oh God, now I've got another boss. So it's not where you want to be. Where you want to be is helping her and what she's trying to do, and then find things that the city can do that it isn't doing. We have frankly enough supervisors to supervise them. They don't need more supervisors. They
Right.
need more ideas.
Are we ready to share
So,
those ideas?
I was gonna say, I think we're ready to share ideas, and I'm assuming because you asked. but
No,
you
no,
asked,
I do not need to go first.
Well, you know what, who wants to go first? Does anybody have ideas, or should I throw one out that I already know is there as a possibility?
Sure, throw it out, and then I can go. It doesn't matter.
So you do have some, you go first. You
Okay.
have, or at least one.
I have few for
Okay,
maybe more of what we used to do parks wise, and maybe some for events, but I'm not sure.
okay.
So I'm gonna start with the parks one.
Also, let me set this stage really quick. This is not a yes, no moment. These are ideas. Let's think about it. We can have questions. We might bounce off of that idea into a new territory. They might attach to something that already exists. This is not that doesn't work, and no, there's no room for that, and that doesn't sound like fun. This is just idea time.
I think we just have to start somewhere.
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Thank you.
My first idea is that trail signage system, having it be QR coded, maybe with recommended walks or runs with mileage included. So if you're walking or running back there, you get to a post and you can have it access on your phone, and then it can have preset walks or runs that are already there. As someone who runs on those trails all the time, I think that would be pretty cool to have, but I also know how expensive that would be potentially. A track
Maybe not.
or a
Maybe not.
designated space for e-bikes, a place for the e-bike riders to go. Is that even, could we take the parking lot, where the Christmas tree, where the Boy Scouts sell Christmas trees, and turn half of that into a place for e-bikes to go, just some place to put these kids so they can ride their e-bikes without being a menace and having it be a constant conversation.
Like the one in North Bend at,
But they're not, are you thinking Torgerson Park?
yes.
They're not allowed there.
No, but similar to
something
that
like
kind of
that.
concept
Yes,
of
but for them.
Oh, the
Yeah.
So that we can
Okay.
refer them.
Right.
E-bike.
I have to say at the last movie, I had probably, well, do I dare say we called them the bike gang? There was about 15 or 16 of them.
Yeah.
Just on their bikes. And we were I just said you can be here to watch the movie. That's
So
great.
you'll be-
But I need you to be quiet, and I need you to not be driving on all the grass. But it was clearly they wanted to be somewhere.
Yeah.
Just like any kid,
Yeah.
you have to give them purpose.
Mhm.
So I'm if
and
we
a
give them
place.
a place to go.
Yeah.
Then we can at least you can't be here because you can be there.
So a bike track or gateway park where they just
Yeah.
ride in circles.
It should. We love Torgerson.
Over there.
Yeah. My son is really into Torgerson, so we're at that bike track a lot.
Uh-huh.
I'm talking about behind the Les Schwab. And the e-bikes come through and they usually go really fast 3 or 4 times. And then one of them's dude, we're not supposed to be here. This is against the rules. And then they leave.
They fly through there.
But they're
Okay.
excited. And so I'm maybe I can have some. Okay. More bicycling improvements, like a bike lane on the parkway or just promoting city biking. It's a little bit hard because we're on a big hill. But I don't really know anything that we do that promotes biking in the city. And
Yeah.
we've got some trail, like biking going on those trails, but that's not really even ever promoted either. So I just didn't know if we could like promote that a bit more.
I mean, we're like a missing link on the Snoqualmie Valley Trail.
Yeah.
It's
So-
totally, it's
And
a,
there's actually something activating there on Snoqualmie property that we have not, to my knowledge, been a part of the development of, and there might be an opportunity for us there. I don't know the current status of that whole project, but I do know that that's been in the
Sorry,
works.
just-
It's in the, I am not a trail
Part of East
biker.
Trail, is it?
It's
East Trail,
it's,
that partnership?
What are we talking about?
it's over by, my understanding is it's, Snoqualmie Point Park. There's something over by
So we
there
do
that's
have
part of the
Snoqualmie Point
trail.
Park, and that park, I think, has 3 different owners. So there's the Raging River that's not
Right.
part of the Snoqualmie Park
Right.
system.
Right.
Are you talking about the line that's up there? Because there is that.
They're adding
Current.
that, or they've already added it.
They're there. I don't know the status or the
Okay.
future,
Yeah.
but that, I think what Emily is talking about
Right.
is the youth. And I wouldn't recommend that the youth were up there because that's avid adult biking.
Yeah, that's-
They would be
It's
out of
really hard.
place.
It's done
Yeah.
at once. Oh my
Yeah.
I would
God.
say that the more bike lanes and the more bike messaging, I think that biking has grown in the valley. I know the chambers identify this. We have a biking guide. It's definitely here. I think I mean, I can't speak to what the city can and can't do. We have capacity issues and staffing issues. In a larger city, there would be like planning staff, but this would be their focus, right? And biking and commuting and all that. So I think up until now, I will say it's probably been a gap in service or a gap in something that we're able to do. But that's why this exercise is important, because this could be something that maybe we decide internally as a city to put some resources
And
to.
I'm gonna just speak to the size of our city for a moment. Our city is approximately 15,000 people. That is not a tiny place that shouldn't have planning people for services that develop tourism, that develop local activation for local residents. We have so many people who go to North Bend, who go to Issaquah, who go to Bellevue, instead of staying in our community, because we don't have the things that those communities do. Some of them, being smaller than us, still have them, and we don't. And then our businesses and our community are sending our tax dollars and our sense of place and connection to each other somewhere else.
Mhm.
And a big part of what this group and what a city does is turn that around. And yes, it takes staff to do it.
And I think Renee and I both
Partnership
served on a
Yes.
rural tourism steering community
Yeah.
where this was something that was identified. So what this is reinforcing a
Right.
need or
Right.
action in the community for something that Renee and I have heard. So I think.
I mean, I
that's
love
good.
North Bend,
Yeah,
but I don't want to need to go to North Bend in order to get, I'm going to not fill in that sentence. Fill in the blank, whatever it is,
Farmers market.
farmer
Party.
market, block parties,
Pump
those
track.
things.
Yeah.
They should
All the
be
things.
here
Yeah.
because our community
I
is
will
a
say though,
community.
Renee, like to your point about staff, I mean, I am a huge believer in leveraging partnerships that are already out there existing, a lot of
Yeah.
nonprofit agencies and East Rail partners with communities. And I brought this up, I think, at last fall to Dylan about the huge opportunity that there is to partner with them. They raise so much money. They have so many amazing partnerships. They're Amazon, Microsoft, they're building this trail system all the way from Woodinville down through Renton and moving it to the east side. And they will help fund things like this
But
that you're
even-
talking about, but you have to reach out to them.
Right.
And like put those connection points together.
And that's where staffing comes in, is somebody who can make those connections, who can find those partnerships, make those connections, and the city benefit from them. That the Parks Department needs staff for that, because they are already having a difficult, having a challenge being able to do things at the level that they're used to being able to do them. And so I'll just throw that out there. We're a 15,000 person community with feeder communities that we could have come to us for things. And instead, we're still going out.
Look, we have the city of North Bend, 50% smaller than Snoqualmie, so 9,000, 8 to 9,000.
I've been just smaller than.
Oh, I didn't know
North Bend's
that.
much smaller.
Much
Yeah,
smaller.
50%.
I'm gonna get
bigger.
way more kids too.
North Bend has 5 planners on staff, 5 planning
Right.
staff. All those things you're talking about. Then they have the North Bend Foundation, which does a lot of the activation of all that.
Which the city helps fund.
Truth. We have in Snoqualmie 2 planners on staff right now,
Right.
2. I've got funding for a 3rd, but the council's talking about cutting that. So, we're way behind and
Yep.
without
Yeah.
planners, without people that go, by the way, if you get that grant, first off, you have to apply for it.
Oh,
Secondly, you have to administer it. So without the staff, you don't apply, you don't get the grant, you don't plan for it, things don't happen. And we are much smaller. By the way, 5 years ago, we had 5 staff. We just cut our way down to where we are now. And so,
And so the idea that we should continue cutting, we did it.
but I'm just saying, the ideas that you have, when you hear this sort of pushback, hey, there's not much we can do, we don't have staff, we don't have dollars. But maybe the idea is we should
Deal. Yeah.
do more, but, the council needs to hear from you, from the community, whatever. I'll just say, that's one of the things we're struggling with is how do we do more of these things? But that's where I'm from. Well, at least let's do a couple things. Let's do what we can.
Can more assistance from AWC be explored?
They don't provide funding, AWC.
Okay.
They can help
What
you
is
with sort of
AWC?
organizing people.
Washington
Yeah.
Cities Association. of
And
Washington.
grant processes,
Say the grant
They don't-
process.
they don't help with that.
They don't.
Oh, okay.
I wish that'd be awesome.
I would disagree with that because I worked with the AWC in the past to push up communication to all the member cities
They're
before.
fantastic at that.
And yeah, and so they do push up
Yes.
communication.
Oh, no, they're
to the member
fantastic.
cities.
And SCA even more, Sound City Association even
Yeah.
more around the 3 counties here. But yes, SCA and AWC can absolutely help with us building some community consensus around
Yes.
things that can be pushed. But actually getting the dollars or providing staffing to do things is not, they don't do that.
I think this process tonight is akin to what the mayor was saying with EDC. It kind of throws some things out there and we can take it back as staff and like, what's our capacity? We're in budget. What are some things that we could accomplish? So I guess Emily, continue with.
It's like keep bringing it back.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was for really road, for going back to what I was talking about biking. That was really for road biking. But then I also have pump track for kids. Because again, I have a 4.5-year-old and we're going to Torgerson Park to ride on the pump track. The only one that I know of, and please correct me if I'm wrong, in Snoqualmie is the tiny one above Fisher Creek Park. That's
right. That was
That's just.
I believe it was decommissioned,
Yeah.
so to speak. And so that was supposed to be, I don't want to go to it too much, but the organization that's the line at Snoqualmie Point Park was supposed to activate that and the Evergreen Bike Alliance and help us to get Fisher Creek back online because that has been deactivated since probably pre-COVID.
Yes.
And
It still works. We walked up there because I live just down below it and
but wasn't it more, I don't want to say sophisticated, but it was.
there's not much to it.
There was-
There's not.
Yeah,
But
and then
a
you
lot
can
of
ride
parts
through the
aren't
trees,
really
which is more dance.
sophisticated, But that, I think the city
Teenagers.
is not currently managing that, or we don't have the capacity to bring it to what it could be, or it used to
Well,
be.
it would be very cool to have a pump track for younger kids
Oh, absolutely.
somewhere
Yeah.
here.
I love that.
And I'm for anything with younger kids. Because I feel like we've got so many kids in Snoqualmie.
At a Jeannie Hansen, there's a track that goes around those fields. It's good for running.
Oh, yeah. This is like the pump track at Torgerson has
But I know
hills
the
and
pumps.
curves.
Yeah.
And yeah,
But my
that's
kids
what
do
I
Yeah,
that.
not,
Around.
recommend.
not just the learning how to ride, but the like.
Fun and the
Fun,
challenge.
play,
Yeah.
challenge.
Yeah, it was a former mayor.
Um,
I used to call it that until I was corrected.
Yes, but.
okay.
What was
The
Jean
Jeannie,
Hansen
not
versus Jeannie Hansen.
I thought it was just colloquially, excuse me, we call it Jeannie Hansen.
it? Right.
It is her name.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or she's passed away.
But you're in the know.
Just call it Jean. Yeah.
They don't. Okay.
Yeah.
What
That's
else?
Okay, my last one here, because my next one really is continuing work with like the Ridge Dog Park, the potential cricket pitch, the prioritization of certain parks, because I think that's important, but I don't want to just be always checking in. So my last one is the Meadowbrook Trail. Have you guys tried that? Again, my husband and I are big runners. and or we like to take our kids on bikes. So if you run from Centennial Park and you go through the gate, the elk, where all the elk
Oh,
are,
yes.
and you run down to Meadowbrook,
With North Bend.
and then you try to come back, the trail just randomly
Yeah.
stops there. So my husband, being the guy that he is, will just, has twice made us just keep on biking. And you're like in brush, you're like in grass up to here. So could we actually make that a loop or make it like functional and somehow connect to Centennial Park? Because that would be, I think, really great. And it gives people like, not just an out and back, but an actual like different way to go.
My understanding with just, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong, but Centennial has that gate all around it also to like keep the elk out, because imagine if you're like kids playing softball, which my kids did at the back corner field, there's literally were elk standing at the gate looking at us.
Yes. So it might be.
I would hazard a guess to say that the bigger issue with Meadowbrook is the partnership that we have with the city of North Bend, Skyview, and the Snoqualmie tribe is also in that conversation. So it's kind, would you agree, Councilmember?
Yeah,
It's kind of a hot topic. I think it's great to have on the list because like that is actually listed in the East Side Hiking or book, you know. And my husband and I did it one day last summer, and I'm like, well, look here, it stops. We can't, we have to go back. He's like, great hike, great book. So
Yeah, it might be because of the elk too. Maybe they didn't want to make it a big loop to have the elk have more
I
freedom.
really,
I don't know. I just think
I
it's
didn't know
weird.
Tribe was involved.
there's
Yeah.
conversations with the tribe. We're talking about Meadowbrook Mayor and if you wanted to do a loop all the way around the park, you reach a point when you get into Snoqualmie city limits where it just ends.
Really?
Yes, sir. Yep. And so the idea that I was saying, and that's a bigger conversation because I think it's the city of North Bend, the city of Snoqualmie, Sideview, and the tribe has conversations as well of how that particular park, the uses of that park.
So the park is owned by the city of Snoqualmie, the city of North Bend.
Right. And the area we talk about is in our city limits.
So we can put whatever we want there.
Are you talking about the elk refuge? Are you talking about trying to bike around the perimeter of like the elk?
Yeah, you know where people stop and take pictures?
Yes.
Yeah. I
That's
heard the
right
trail.
about
There's like a
trail
footpath trail.
ends.
It's
There's
not
a
really
trail.
paved.
Yeah.
Especially
That
people on
comes
the
from
back
Meadowbrook,
side.
which is the building where that you can rent
Yeah.
out.
Oh, okay.
That's right
But
on the
that
border.
Neighborhood near Centennial is also called Meadowbrook. So I was
Yeah.
kind of thinking we were starting there at Centennial, but you're starting.
No, it's the grass field. So if you're leaving Snoqualmie on 202, before you get to the elk viewing area,
I see.
it's kind of like right here and there's a bunch of brush and bushes
middle
and it just ends right there.
Okay.
And
So
where
we
people
can do
can
whatever
take
we want there.
Okay.
So like, don't limit yourself. Talk about what we might want.
Right.
You know, think about how many residents would use it. Think about whether it attracts something for businesses, you know, not that we're against doing for things for tourists. Bringing tourists to town is great as long as they spend money. But anyway, whatever you think, the point is we own it.
I don't think it does anything for businesses, but I think
Either.
it
was trying to
would
hint
be
at
an
that too. I was trying to
improvement.
hint at that. But whatever you
More
guys
us.
decide, and I don't want to limit you. You tell us what's important and why. Just you know. But I just wanted to send a message. Yeah, we can do that if we want.
Did you also say dog park?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Cricket pitch, and then the prioritization of the playgrounds, playground design, impact of changes, additions, and examples of like the splash pad required the popular basketball court to be basically axed. And I remember talking about that at length with the former city administrator on like if that would work and what that would look like, and if that would be okay.
To
Were there
get
enough-
rid of the basketball.
Yeah, were there
And
enough
that's when they did the
basketball
evaluation, if
courts
there was actually
in the
enough
area?
basketball courts around the park system.
Yeah. And then some events ideas, like events are, I think, kind of weak, but something like a community walks or area cleanups. But don't we kind of already do that? Aren't there like
We do.
city green day events? And I wouldn't want to
Street from my
I
house.
wouldn't want to compete with that. Something like a new trail walk, like or a park meetup, like just hey everybody, let's all meet at Stellar Park so everyone can get to know it. Bad example, don't go there right now because they're really playground floor, but and maybe they're putting in a dog park. Something like get to know your town, like going through Old Town. But these are all just piggybacking off of kind of events, or at least
Yeah.
that one that already happens. And then a holiday or winter craft bazaar. Because I feel like there's kind of a dearth of things that are
Holiday
happening
market.
in the winter. Yes. And No Boat does one. So
Yes.
why couldn't
It'd be bigger.
why
There's
couldn't
a lot of
it be
holiday
bigger
markets
or
that
we
cities
promote
have,
it
yeah.
and the city back it or whatever? And that's what I read.
So you did make me think of something where son is that. You did make me think about something. So I'm not sure why this is the case, but I've got two little kids, and it seems like every park I go to, the waterfront is no park. I'm just wondering, like,
Why is that?
why is it the case that should be affected? But anyway, my point is that I'm wondering, since there are people who are interested in cleanup and stuff, I wonder if there'd be any interest in a community thing where people go and they just look around the parks and make a list of what's broken at the parks.
Find it, fix it.
Find it,
But
put
look,
it on the list.
so the only problem with that,
Our department, our Parks Department.
what we've done again and again.
Hi, Phil.
Well, here's the problem, is they don't have someone who
Yeah.
drives around and goes to all the parks and does that. The only way they find out is when it gets reported to
Right.
them.
Yes.
And then it goes on to a
There is
list.
a Parks concern.
There's a parks
Yeah.
concerns. I send in a message about once a month
How-
about something.
Yeah.
So there's a list,
Is
but
it?
just
I don't know where it is.
getting.
Is there not somebody in the parks department that is required to be certified as a parks, like, inspector?
Yeah, I don't wanna, I'm not gonna go out on a limb and say, I
Yeah.
believe we have staff that are certified playground, but it could be something that we can consult, but I'm not 100% sure.
They do a fantastic job. Like, I'll call them up and say, hey, there's 5 really rusty screws hanging out of the side of this play structure, and within a few days, they're usually there.
I will say that the Parks Department, and I work very closely with them, and that's my past experience, just how they function. Their staff is lean.
Yeah.
There's more coming at them than they can really get to. They're kind of chasing their tails.
Right.
You know, they're taking care of all those things. They're mowing, they're doing that. They're helping me with events. They're helping with Red, White, and Boom, all of the special event permits. Like, they have, their workload is huge.
That's good, like we used to hear every meeting.
Right.
Yeah.
Being like, we like to hear from people, we like to know problems, but then we have to reprioritize and we have to pull people off of doing like trail maintenance somewhere in order to fix this problem.
And they
That's
can
fair.
go into their week and have a plan, and then it can just get all shot up
Yeah.
when,
A windstorm comes through.
well, Friday night at the bathroom at Jeannie Hansen, when we were leaving, some teenagers had destroyed the boys. I mean, not destroyed, like, not repairable, but like ripped the toilet paper thing off, clogged the toilet, clogged the urinal, threw toilet paper on the outside of the wall. Like, that's like, okay, guess what we're doing in the morning? You know, like that kind of stuff. Like, their day is not necessarily
Oh, yeah.
planned by what they want to do. Their day is planned by the actions of Mother Nature. That's like also their job too. But it's hard to keep up.
It's like motherhood.
It is like motherhood.
You're always missing something.
I had a plan for today.
Renee, did you have a list?
I have some, but
Yeah.
I want to hear, do you have some?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I would maybe add to the biking piece and like really clarify. Like, I know that there are a lot of reasons why the Snoqualmie Valley Trail like stops through Snoqualmie, but just the number of boxes we could check by trying to figure out how to funnel people through the city, I think is major. Because like, I'm an avid trail biker and I'm like in all the groups, and I think North Bend gets a lot of people that come from Seattle to bike, and they don't come here because it's confusing where you're supposed to go. And families, right? Like, just enjoying the trail and like going out, and then it ends. So if it could like come and safely go through like some of our downtown, like, how cool would that be? And connect maybe with like the ridge and just sort of more of a plan for biking.
Can I interrupt you for a second?
Of course.
Does the city own the land where you can access the Snoqualmie Valley Trail? If you go straight through the roundabout, instead of turning left to go to Salish and the falls, you go up. No, sorry. Okay, so if you're coming from the ridge, you're coming down, you turn a left at the light, right? And you go over the bridge, and there's that roundabout. Instead of going 3/4 of the way around to go to Salish, you go straight. That's how at least I connect to the Snoqualmie Trail. That's where we run all the time. And the access there is not great. So on one side, you've got really steep stairs that are overgrown. On the other side, you've just got like loose rock.
Yeah.
And then you've got the tunnel there that's usually like littered with glass. So do we we must have some ownership there because I know there was a problem with somebody stealing gas. And so they put up like a blockade there so nobody could do that anymore, like the city did. Could we
That was
improve?
the Total Trail, I believe, where they did that, right?
No. Where you're talking about is outside the city. It's King County.
Okay,
King County does have some plans. Well, they've had them for a little while to try and improve the trail connection through there. And then back down Tocol to where it connects. But where you're talking about that trailhead and what there's a little bit of parking there. and
Yeah.
stuff, That's all
That's
outside the city.
that's also, okay, because that would be
You are right that,
easy connection point to
That is
maybe
the-
make a
yeah.
pathway.
and then what
To Snoqualmie.
King County's got in mind, but it's not imminent, is the problem. But
Mm-hmm.
their plan is to run that all the way along and then back over down to, I don't think it's Meadowbrook Bridge. I think it's that pedestrian bridge that used to be the railroad bridge. I think they're gonna.
Oh,
connect it
like,
there.
Well, that's the end of the.
on your
trail.
way to the elementary school? Like way down there? Like go through Mill Pond?
Yeah, well,
to get to
up
there?
around behind the mill site, up above, and
Yeah.
then back down past, Dirtfish and all that, and then keep coming back down there, and then just beyond the Meadowbrook Bridge, there's that
Well,
old
that's way
railroad
up the
bridge.
hill, like going up that way.
Yeah,
Like I'm
so,
thinking of
yeah,
it.
so it's going
You've
all.
gone up to Dirtfish, like it goes way up the hill.
We don't
Yeah.
have the map anymore. So,
Well, I know they've started developing something along the Snoqualmie Valley Trail there.
so they do have plans to, anyway, have it go up there. All of that's outside the city.
Yeah.
But they do have plans for that, but I don't think it's imminent.
The other place to really, that I could see, creating, even if you're off of the Snoqualmie Valley Trail, if you've got a place to send bikers to get into Snoqualmie, is to go along Mill Pond Road, is that what it's called?
Mhm.
That floods
Yep.
every year.
Or, Riding Road and Mill Pond Road.
Yeah, so send the bikers along there and then they come back on that smaller bridge, where kids jump off, right, to go into the river.
one-lane bridge.
Yeah, the one that's at that cute little four stop intersection with
Yeah.
like the cart maintenance guys right there.
Right.
So send them along
The
that
actual-
way. Yeah, and come
Actually,
back.
at the actual neighborhood called Meadowbrook.
Yeah.
Which is where I live.
Yeah, yeah. Because we've talked about
Which
the
used to be
speed
its
problem.
own city,
Thanks.
It used to be the city of Meadowbrook.
Yeah.
Used to be.
There used to be a.
Long before all of
Used to
it.
be a- No, just kidding.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So what I'm
I have no
hearing
sister
is
home
that
background.
we want to be a biking mecca. No, I'm
But I
kidding.
think,
I'm
I just think
totally,
we're leaving, like,
I-
Bend is
yes.
in people's minds in the city,
Right.
like young people.
right,
I'm gonna
To go.
take my bike out to
Yeah.
North Bend. And I think Snoqualmie just,
can be part of that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and there's
I
no
agree.
designated way to connect the trail really. It ends
Right.
at that bridge
Mhm.
if you're coming from North Bend. And then you have to drive somewhere, walk somewhere all the way around to the place I'm talking
Right.
about to access it again.
yeah, to
Well,
carry your bike.
I
down a
love
hill.
Yeah.
that there sounds like there's multiple opportunities to fill gaps that would check a lot of boxes. And so,
The thing I
Yeah.
was trying to, I don't think I did this well. There is a plan to connect the Snoqualmie Valley Trail. It's outside the city, so I don't think it actually hits on what you're talking about,
Mhm.
which is fine, they're gonna do that whenever they do it. You're saying, I'm translating in my mind, okay, fine, do that, but what about getting them into the city? I
Yeah,
think
could
we're
be
going
some
to
kind
this.
of-
right,
Yes, that's what I'm
cleared
hearing.
way, clear
Yeah.
route that people know of at least.
So
Even if
scrap
it's to
that
go a
idea.
mile.
I mean,
Right.
could it go from like where the trail is at Mountainside Golf Course, like if it went along Park Street, like
Yeah,
that way, and then along Park Street and just fed into downtown Snoqualmie?
yeah.
Because
And
that's
people
within
do
our
that.
city limits, like that could even be,
There's more going on that I don't want to get in the way of what we're
Okay.
talking about, but this actually could tie into some other things that are at the capture this.
yeah, because that could be capital improvement. Okay, and capturing
You know,
it.
the things already happening, but just capture it.
I got it captured. Okay.
Okay, and then, who knows how long ago, but when we were doing our like priorities, maybe it was 18 months ago, 12 months ago. I had brought up like a winter indoor space that does not need to be a full-blown, athletic club, but just somewhere where, I mean, I don't know if you guys deal with this, but it's like, it's the winter, you're like, I just want to go on a walk somewhere. I don't like, and me and my husband walk under the, under the Mount Si High School, and it's kind of bleak. So
Like
could
if you
we,
were near a mall, you'd be a mall walker, right?
Yeah.
You know, I did that at Bellevue Square, when it was like teen degrees out. I'm like, let's go to Bellevue Square, we'll walk the mall.
Yeah.
And we did to get our steps in.
Gotta
Cause
get
that was
your
you
steps.
kind of mean.
something like that, and then like to expand it to like what my neighbors have said with like their kids is like somewhere where they could take their, you know, little bikes and like maybe like bike in a little circle, or like I have neighbors that are prolific rollerbladers and they're always trying to find somewhere to go rollerblading.
Like an indoor track.
Yeah, but it doesn't need, I'm not suggesting that the city needs to build some major whatever it is, but like I know that like Pickering Barn allows, you know, people to go in there in the winter, and like they have a couple of events where it's
Or
like,
like
Bar
side
has
view
fair.
has,
They're wonderful.
The old bar
the-
tells.
oh yeah, the old bar.
You see the old
Yeah.
hotels in
It's a
Spa?
skate rink. I
Skating
didn't
rink,
see
something
that.
like that.
And I was like, yeah.
I still want a PCC in that space. I want a
The other thing
PCC.
we've heard from a lot of moms,
Right.
out just doing my economic development work, is that we need a place for, similar to what you're saying, but like a birthday party venue, a birthday party. Like, I don't think we need anything more fitness per se, but somewhere where, because people have to go other places to do birthday parties. Like we've checked in with Arena Sports, like, could you come here? They were like, no, thank you. But that's something that we've heard.
and yeah, exactly. And Jeff had brought up the old library as a potential, you know, small scale space that could be public access.
Right.
Maybe not for all those use cases, but just somewhere to go inside that you don't need to be a YMCA member to go to.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's interesting because the Y is
Isn't that
such an
voltage or
amazing asset for our community, and they provide so many things for so many people. But they're not the same as having a community function, like they host what they host for members and have some public, you know, open, but they don't do you know, a Wednesday morning old ladies walk, you know, around, you know, whatever neighborhood. They don't do a kids biking group on
Are you talking about the YMCA?
yeah, they don't, you know, they don't plan a winter bazaar in the local whatever, fill in the blank. They're
They do
the
book
community center, right? And
That are
so they
expensive. You're not gonna-
right.
Mhm.
And so there's a piece of this like Parks Department work that isn't filled by a YMCA. They fill a lot of things, but they don't fill all of them. And our community still needs those things. And a lot of them are things that you guys have been mentioning. So that's very cool.
And my last thought for now is just also parroting the holiday market. I think,
Yeah.
and if possible, if we could serve hot wine, I just think that
Mulled
people would
wine.
come from
Mulled wine.
yeah, blue wine. Yeah, I've got a lot of Germans in my
Right.
It's like fun for the whole family.
Not get it mixed up with the non-mold hot chocolate.
But
Yeah.
just yeah, I mean, we had family in town. We had to go to Seattle to go to that Christmas market, and it's a big event, but it's just nothing special. Like I
Right.
don't know, it's just
Right.
why am I driving to Seattle Center to
Yeah.
have people try to sell me trinkets? You know,
Right.
like
Yeah,
but
there's so many small businesses here. You would think that
Yeah.
would have enough to generate.
so
Yeah.
winter thing. I feel like that's the like what can we do to
Right.
help people through our
Seasonal gap.
dark winter? Yeah.
A nudge,
Pardon?
that was coffee and Kahlua.
Oh,
Like
okay.
the whole,
Okay.
you did Stevens Pass thing.
We can have like a morning holiday bazaar with coffee and Kahlua and then it's a mulled wine.
Yeah, just one thing. Okay. I'm assuming that you don't have stuff to add to the list, but I don't want to not ask you what ideas you have.
No.
Oh, I can get my idea, her ideas any day of the week.
Yeah,
I need
yeah,
your idea.
good.
I know, but I can't get her. Okay.
Well, I just wanted to add on to what Hadley had said about, I feel like at one point you brought up the key patch, one of the three of you did.
Right.
And I don't know where you, if you
Oh, something
still-
down here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
They
Is that
are-
something you're still into? Yeah, I
To add to your-
could share, so some, yes and no. So some neighbors and I have been working together to put together a proposal to try to work with the city to expand the Pea Patch program. So that's definitely on my mind. I just
Mhm.
didn't know.
Right?
Because you had pitched the idea of across the street from the high school, that piece of
Yes.
property over there, which
Yeah.
every time I drive by it now, I think of you.
Yeah.
Like that pea patch, and it's so sunny in that spot, and
It
it
is.
was really well here.
Yeah,
And a sense of community coming together and, intergenerational. I like that idea.
yeah.
Was there some
We can say
issue with that spot?
across from
I
the
remember
high
Dylan
school.
and Phil talking about it, but I don't remember what they said.
Yeah,
direction?
yeah. So next, okay, so some neighbors and I are putting together like a nonprofit to try to approach the city, which I don't want to like put my horse in front of any cart or anything, but we're planning to go to the Community Development Commission next week, I think. Because I think that space could not only be a pea patch, but it could be like a community orchard that's much larger that like celebrates the heritage. Community pea patches that are more like in the allotment style, which is like big enough that you could actually support a family and like have real food output.
Are you talking about the space along the river?
Oh yeah,
So this is the space where they're planning something, but they don't have a defined
that's correct.
timeline or completely concrete plan.
Right next
Yeah.
where they
Yeah.
started an
So-
orchard.
There is,
Yeah.
there is a community orchard there, that is so fun, if you guys ever
Yeah.
been there. But this vision would be to expand it and what I know about those lots, and I'm sure maybe people at the table know much more, is that there are regulations with like, because they were purchased like in partnership with FEMA and they're in the floodplain, whatever, but, just to see what could be done and, I just have some neighbors that are really excited about the idea of
Right.
a lot of trees. Access
Sorry, I
to
didn't mean to put you on the
agriculture.
spot. I was just like, I know you pitched that
Yeah,
idea
yeah.
last year and I loved it so much.
Yeah, I think we've been trying to get our ducks in a row. And,
Yeah.
I can speak from experience because I'm part of the one up on the ridge, which the HOA manages. And there are a lot of emails that come to us and it's highly regulated. And so you have to like do your due diligence and do a good job in order to continue having a plot.
Mhm.
And I think it's warranted to some degree because people start off with high ambition at the beginning of summer and then the plots die off or they like don't harvest anything. So it would require also like a budget that they talk about on what to spend on certain things. It would require some type of budget and someone willing to like manage it and manage the people who are a part of it. If you really want to be formal about it. If it's more laissez-faire and it's like, man, it doesn't matter, then you could roll with that and kind of tackle how that goes.
Yes, yeah. And I've heard I remember hearing from the city staff too, the issues that they have with people kind of abandoning their plots and then it impacts other people's plots. So,
Yeah. Yeah, and how to like guard it from bunnies and deer and everybody wants to eat all your stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if you're growing them nice vegetables, I don't know why you would keep it from them.
What would it take to bring an idea like that, like the pea patch, through the process to reality? I guess there's some sort of consensus that leads up to council that involves that, or what does that look like?
It may or may not, like you said, it may or may not involve the council. It's hard. I don't know where, like, I'd have to sort of hear more about the specifics. Broadly, I'll tell you there's a lot more planned for that area than you may realize. I think the first step would just be to get this idea into the planning that's going on by staff.
Mhm.
Once we kind of get a sense of what that would be and how we make that happen, then you say, yeah, that's it. Oh, no, you didn't get it right. This. Oh, okay. Then we know, okay, now what would that take forward? What would that cost? Who needs to buy off on that? So it sort of needs to be developed a bit more, but we can absolutely develop it. And I will tell you, there's a whole bunch of discussion about, no, there's a bunch of plans for that whole area. By the way, it's in the floodway, not floodplain. But things like that can absolutely be done in there. In fact, we got a whole bunch of plans that are coming from forward on what to do there. In fact, I'd hope that some of them start happening this year, but they may not. But in any event, things are happening. By the way, community development committee is getting canceled next week. It'll go to the next one.
Okay. Good to know. I think the biggest thing for me is a dog park. I
Right.
think that when people are leaving the city to drive down the road to go further away, and now they're like, oh, I'm gonna go get lunch in North Bend. I'm gonna go get dinner. I'm gonna do my grocery shopping in North Bend. I'm already over halfway here. We're driving people away from the city. And I think that there's so much opportunity to keep people up here in the sense of community and that up even more. I
You know, the
wanna-
council approved that.
Yeah, I just want to
That's
see it
happening.
come to fruition.
Yeah, it's now happening. It's all approved.
It's all approved, it's all good.
Yep. The
Great.
funds are, it's all happening now.
Is
I think it's so
Stellar
good.
Park maintenance in that
I'm
included?
just gonna pull up the map to remember which one it was.
I was gonna say Stellar.
And Stellar
But
Park.
what I
Pretty sure
keep,
that's right.
what I keep
Yeah,
thinking about
it is.
is when I said, what is the, plan for making sure it stays clean? Because it's in the middle of a bunch of houses. There was no answer and a really long pause. And so I'll just throw that out there. Like, it is a perfect spot for a dog park, but you can't just let it be, you
A
can't
poop
just
park.
let it be a poop park.
Yeah.
So,
No, there has to be maintenance that goes
Maintenance.
along with that. And you hope that the neighbors all pick up their dogs. Like,
yeah,
but it's obviously all the trash cans, to Nicole's point, like the parks department is
right.
responding versus being proactive. And so many of the trash cans, you go to the parks and they just reek of dog poop
Right.
at a child's playground. So, yes. But I would like to know with that park, is the base of the park, the turf stuff being repaired? Because that was the one thing I had brought up over and over with Stellar.
That was on the list in the fall.
Yes.
We haven't had an update, so we haven't had a chance to get one from Dylan, but the last I heard, it's being turned into park. They're
Okay.
taking up because it's, more economic to do it that way. To just take
I
up
do remember that
wavy
conversation
flooring
happening. I
and
just hadn't heard of
put it
it.
back.
And then a farmer's market. I think that so many of the cities around us have amazing farmers markets. And again, we're driving people out of the city to go to these farmers markets. And then again, they're having dinner and grocery shopping. I know I do this. Like, I go to Pickering Barn and then I go to PCC, or I go to Sideview and then I'm going to QFC. Like, just keeping people here.
If I could just give a little perspective
Yeah.
on that,
Yeah.
Issaquah has, it's been a while since I know this for sure, but they have like a seasonal summer staff person that runs that. Yeah, and Juanita, in Kirkland Farmers Market. The thing with farmers markets is it is staff intensive, which we don't. Staffing is an issue for us. And also it's kind of diluting the critical mass. Because if you had a farmer's market of every species you went along the valley, I don't know. It's just questionable if people would support it. We also, it's an issue of good vendors don't want to leave a good spot to go to something speculative. So it's hard to build. It can take 3 to 5 years to get a farmer's market to be as robust. So it's just something I think that there's been chatter within the city. It's been chatter in economic development. It's just something I think we don't have the capacity to embrace at this time.
Right.
Or if it was an outside agency or someone that did it, they would have to own that themselves. Like maybe now I'm totally like speculating, like if the city were to say, okay, we would give you this space in this area to do it, but you have to own it. So that's the conversations that we've had probably the last 3 to 5 years about a farmer's market.
The timing and what the goals of the farmers market are, and what the unique character of a farmers market is, and how to not compete with Pickering on the same
Sideview,
day,
yeah.
right? And Sideview. And so scheduling and location and audiences. I have a picture for one in my head too, and I think it would be really cool and really valuable for the city in a lot of ways.
Even Fall City has been working towards one too.
And yeah, they've started one up, and I think that while there is one on this day and on this day, and if you compete, like Saturday morning, you're going to compete with every major one, in the region. But there are lots of times that might be.
I mean, there's
Yeah.
farmers markets you're going to compete with
Yeah.
7 days a week.
they're everywhere, but I mean, side views on Thursday, pickering's on
Mhm.
Saturday, so why would we choose a Wednesday and then connect it to the concert at the same time? And close down Center Boulevard or close down the Ridge area, and yes, hire staff that are part-time during the summer, like most cities in the area do. Their Parks Department hires part-time staff, seasonal staff.
And I
And
think
there was
the
a farmer's
report-
market attempt up on the ridge. Jason Green was a chiropractor. He did it for a while and it was rough go for him.
I think they just reported the North Bend Farmers Market generated just in the market, not like for the community, the grocery store and the restaurants and the golf place or whatever, over $300,000 in revenue generated through the market this year. So, or last year. It's not a small thing.
I just want to toss out one thing when you were talking, so Fall City, so that's my route home at night and in the morning. And Fall City in the last year, if you've driven that way, the county has done some major infrastructure from the downtown. It's quite a ways. And it is so lovely for me when I see, it is activated people. When I see people walking or people biking or their dogs, like what, the trails, wildflowers in the irrigation ditch. It just shows if you build it, they will come, kind of a concept. And I just think of what you were saying with the biking path. It's just been really lovely to see what that has. I think it's improved the quality of life of the people in Fall City and the people in the
And safety.
and safety. It's now taken a road that you safety. So anyhow,
There's so many things that serve so many purposes at one time. I always use the painting your house thing, which might be getting outdated now because so many houses are sided with things you don't have to paint. But traditional house, you paint the house, you paint it a color that you love or that you think is right for some reason, and you put why do you do that? Is it to make it pretty? No, but you get to make it pretty. But the reason you do it is to protect your house. And so a lot of the things that we do, like make that trail and put in like those and put in flowers, it's not just because it makes it pretty, it drives activation of the community and it drives sense of place and it drives people to businesses. And it's not like, oh, that's a luxury we can't afford. No, that's how you get your businesses to stay in business. Yeah.
So listen, as you guys put this together, please think about future meetings, taking these ideas to the council, whether it's the Parks and Public Works Committee or work like when you talk about, hey, we should do this. We should hire those seasonal workers. Just so you know, that's not what the council's talking about. They're talking about cutting staff.
Oh,
I know.
And right now, just so you know, we have 8 staff that do all our parks and streets and sidewalks. There's 8 of them. The list of deferred maintenance is getting longer and longer. So you know how you talk about them, they come out when you call? They do. They actually prioritize. What's happening is it's getting to where that's almost all they do, which means none of the planned maintenance happens, which means the calls become more and
It's all
more.
about safety and fixing things.
Right,
Yeah.
because they didn't do so this is going in the wrong spiral and the discussion is let's cut them, not let's add some things. So if people can hear from you, hey, these are the ideas that we as a commission kind of came up with, here's how we ranked them, and here's, some of these require more research. They can hear that kind of thing, will be really valuable to them because, the council only gets, that they're dealing with so many things when they can hear, here's a commission that really focused in. That's invaluable input to them.
Wasn't there a rotation of presentations we were making?
Yeah, we used to present, last year we started right after our meeting, so every other month at first, and then I think we were planning on doing quarterly with the Parks and Public Works.
Someone's capturing that, right?
And I'd make
Okay.
a PowerPoint and talk about what we were working on and what we hoped to work on next.
Or the
And-
council or the committee?
And
I
then,
can't remember.
no, that was the committee, and then at the end of the year, there was always what did
Oh,
you
yeah,
accomplish?
there's usually every commission, usually at least the last 4 years, they did a recap in December of the work that they've done.
Yeah.
Like Arts Commission would present, you guys would present, I don't know, kind of That
I'm
would
more
maybe-
interested in your priorities and your encouragement of what you think should happen than reporting. It's fine to report what you did, but help that you're thinking of things. Get in front of them and help that then become their thoughts. They need your help. All the 8 electeds here, we need your help. There's 8 of us. We don't have that much staff. We need your help.
Would you recommend that we just do that then, like with, like our ideas generated today, just go to in front of the
No,
city
we'll
council?
help you with that. We'll try and help you kind of pull that together and, kind of work with you to sort of what's the best way to do that. So capture the idea. I don't want to take your time, but let us come back to you and say, okay, how about this?
Okay,
So, I'll just say, we're obviously not gonna complete the whole 2-item list, but I already knew that. So I am okay with it, just so you know. But I love this list that we're creating, and I think that's really valuable work. So we'll, and that's where we needed to get,
When's
so I
your next
appreciate it.
meeting?
do we want to try to
So-
prioritize?
Well, I
Well,
actually
ideas
have a
generate.
couple of things to add, and then
Yeah.
let's see if we have time to prioritize, or if we want to,
Can we prioritize over email?
that's what I'm
We
thinking.
all email you back
Yeah, yeah.
one-on-one.
Do this for me. Each of you, don't copy the whole gang.
No.
Just
Right.
each of
Yeah,
you
we
email, but do this for me. Copy Nicole.
Right.
Okay.
So, because we'll find if we can get some staff support to that, okay? Because we've got we've got some staff support we can try and throw against that, all right? And Nicole can organize that. But don't copy each other, because then we get into sort of some, open public meeting act kind of thing.
I think what we've heard here, Mayor, I think would agree that there's some things, and I like the word Renee was using with stacking. There's some things in here that are stacking towards the goals of the Economic Development Commission,
Right.
or, even maybe Arts Commission, a little bit of just activation. There's some things in here that would be a benefit to the community on multiple levels.
I heard a bunch of ideas that have me absolutely static. So yes.
He's not gonna
I bet.
sleep tonight, you guys. It's gonna be a buzz.
Well, let's hear, and
Okay,
then maybe we can hear your favorite one.
Sorry, one
And
thing,
that'll
because I
help
have to
prioritize.
leave, and by the way, you do have to let staff on overtime get out of here, but,
Yeah.
When is your next meeting?
September, this was a special meeting in September. I won't be able to be here that night, but we could find some other staff to take the minutes and to be here doing
Fantastic.
it. So
So that will be 1 month away.
Yeah, so
the second Tuesday of September, yes?
Okay,
Second
Good.
Tuesday of
Yeah, oh,
September.
that's good.
we'll still go ahead with the
Yeah,
meeting,
the
but I will just
Okay,
have to
good.
find a replacement.
all right. And so then, I'm sorry I have to go, but, probably just help wrap up as soon as you can for this meeting, and I'm very much looking forward to your next.
Yeah, we will be done by 7. I'm gonna run through, but I do want you to hear one of them. If you can
Okay.
pack up while I do it. One of the things that I've been thinking about is I've heard a million conversations about somehow driving traffic from the falls to downtown, There's a million great ideas of
Like
how
a
to do
shuttle?
that.
Literally, Paul.
Literally, that has
yeah.
been a conversation.
This is economic development.
Economic-
Talking about this, right? Yeah.
And so, well, and other groups around town too. And it dawned on me, well, that's just silly. Let's drive people literally from downtown public parking to the falls
So the circular.
instead. There, that's one idea. Which, does it make sense?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
can use like the city buses.
Yeah, or whatever mechanism.
City buses.
We have
Valley
valley
buses.
buses, and we have other, yeah, oh, yeah.
Valley Transportation.
Valley
and,
Transportation.
Block party, and they were at North Bend Farmers Market.
No, I was just trying to find it.
Oh, okay.
We're a big truck day.
Yeah.
So it
We have
just,
like 3.
anyway, I just think that's a really
Yep.
important possible flip that could be, if planned well, that could be a major break that we've been trying to figure out how to get to. Anyway, and that's the one I wanted you to hear. Obviously, you mentioned cricket development.
Mhm.
That's on my list too. Let's see, I'm trying to go through the biggest ones. I have no idea how useful this will be, but remember when we did like flash groups, meeting places? What if we had like pocket park mornings? Where we kind of had something that was a reason, even if it's just each other, to show up, not us, but community members, like have a scheduled pocket park meetup once a whatever, regularly, because that's what people need it to be a habit in order for it to become regularly attended. But we have all these pocket parks. They're fabulous. They're a great place to activate. And so that might be a thing. There are festivals that are going on around us. The one that always comes to mind first is the Sunflower Festival. That's already happening. There's already marketing. There's already events happening. I would love to see us connect with those existing festivals in our valley and in the area and make them part of our community, so that we are bringing that traffic here as well. And there are a lot of ways to do that, but that's the basic idea. And then I don't even know exactly how well we could do this, but I was thinking of the like music festivals that Danny Kolke basically puts on, and North Bend. So they bring traffic into North Bend on a fairly regular basis for a country music festival and a jazz festival and a blues festival. And it doesn't even have to be music, but thinking about things like that we can create for our downtown areas that bring people into our spaces, into our businesses, inside of them, and are an event, a cultural event for people.
Do you have like live music in the gazebo or
live
there
music
would bring people closer?
Yeah. Well, and then like have you been to the jazz festival or no? So they're actually
Wait, is that where there's all these different? I have many
Yes.
years ago.
Yeah.
Before
So they're actually in the businesses located in them.
Yeah,
and,
It's like a wine walk or something where they go inside the business or studio.
so those kinds of things.
Cool.
I admit I would really, really like to see the city own Snoqualmie Days. It just should be something the city decides what it's about and what it's for and how it's constructed and what the standards are for participants and things like that. It is a city identified event that is both local identity and regional identity. And I just think it's really important that the city shapes what that looks like.
Does the city not? Who does it currently?
Well, this year it's a group of volunteers.
Oh.
That some of them are in our community and some of them are in North Bend. And thank goodness for them. But I think that's a real.
It was not owned. It was operated by the
Railroad.
Railroad Museum for several years. There was some issues with that many years ago, some not so great issues with the group that was doing it. Mayor Larson at the time asked Richard to take it on. Richard did it. This is the second year of the Snoqualmie University Downtown Foundation.
Right.
I don't know if you're aware, but the city does support that event with staffing. We support it with our waste management contract. We support it with my time. That's where I spent most of my day. The permit is right here.
Yeah.
Trying to help that group manage. I'll just say my current capacity, I could not handle that event.
I know.
But I do want to say that the city, we have eyes on it and we have an in-kind sponsorship with that. Yeah, it's a hard event too. It's been a difficult event because the popularity is the pancake breakfast and the parade, and then it peters out.
Yeah.
So they're trying to find. So I'm not. Sometimes things need to evolve. Sometimes things maybe need to go away. Sometimes traditions end. Sometimes traditions evolve.
Right.
That one has been. I've seen that in the 8 years that I've worked here.
Right.
It's struggling to find its footing.
Right.
So.
And I will say I've gone to it a few times and it's literally that. It's the pancake breakfast and then the parade and everybody disappears.
I think if you had a beer and wine garden or music or something to like keep people around and like a rotation, especially like Mount Sidewalk Party or whatever they did this last weekend. I mean, they had this whole schedule of every other hour something was happening and it was different, right? It was the little Taylor Swift tribute band, and it was drinking, then it was a
The
jazz
chili
band and the chili
contest.
yes, different things that keep people there and drive people back. So
And that takes capacity that a lot of,
Yeah.
and I'm just gonna say, I mean, I don't know how many of you heard me on my soapbox here, but there are lots of really great roles for volunteers and communities, and I don't want to in any way pretend like they're not, but real jobs should be done by people with real paychecks and real responsibilities and real qualifications. And so I think that that's an important part of deciding what we do and don't do and how it gets done. Including the festival. So, okay, that was one. And then again, I said I am on the farmer's market train too. And then like a once a month, like shops stay open late. Activities exist for teenagers and different generations, like once a month, where on a Saturday night, things stay open until 9 instead of whatever. I know, I cringe.
It's wild.
An 8,
It's wild.
6.
It's wild when you want to go out with your mom's group and you're like, everything closes around here at
Yeah,
the meetery.
yeah. And so just one night a month that is a regular night. It's always the third Saturday. It's always that whatever it is that becomes a time people can count on to go out in their community with their friends, with their family, with their girlfriends, whatever it is.
I've pitched that to a few of the businesses down here, like Buckshot Honey. I've talked to them. I'm like, hey, if you just like stay open one Thursday a month late, you would get like a mom's group coming in here if you just promoted it as like a ladies' night. And I feel like there are businesses that just have that one day.
Right.
Can you turn it into a wine walk like Gilman Village does?
That's one of the ways that gets done for a lot of communities is it's a wine walk. Yeah. I wouldn't mind there being a team version, but
exactly.
But
there is desire for the businesses to have that, and they it's hard to get the traffic down there. They want it too, and conversations that we have with them a lot. So I think it's also beating that drum and having the community support the businesses.
The community would totally support it.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I think there's some public art, like collaborative public art opportunities in some of our spaces that would be very cool. One thing that is an actual facility thing is that space in the park next to the gazebo that's all covered. That could be beautiful space.
It could be.
It could be gorgeous if it were painted. It had heating, whatever it was. There could be furniture. There are a lot of things that could be done that would make that space a wonderful place for family reunions, for kids' birthday parties, and right now it kind of feels like a dark kind of
It's weird,
dirty, right? And that's and that's like our main park in our community, in our downtown. It's supposed to be a showcase. It has all kinds of things that are, but that is not good.
There was just a little history on that. There is a desire by the Parks Department. They have identified that, and I don't know where it is on the capital improvement list, but they would like to make that the downtown community park. Those awnings, personally, Nicole, maybe not a fan, and even went so far as to say, "What's the safety of these?" And they were currently safe a couple of years ago, but they are.
You hate it as much as the Sasquatch.
Where does it land on the
It's number
Sasquatch
2.
scale?
Maybe something wooden.
But I think that you're right. If those things were to come down, that park would be opened up, and if just taking those down alone would be beautiful, because there's a lot of good landscaping in there, and it's hidden by the darkness of that. So I don't know where it currently is on the list of to-dos for the Parks Department, but I think it could be the main community park for the downtown.
Yeah, just
And-
taking out the awning and then taking out the weird path.
Oh,
Would make a
yeah.
big difference.
Well, and I would
Taking up that.
actually add covered space so that you had covered the event space in that park. But even just getting rid of the thing that's there would be better than what it is. But I would rather there be
Something
And,
functional.
something beautiful that created a place to be. That would be able to be used for festivals and things like that, places for people to play games, or you can activate that space if it exists in a way without having to put up a bunch of tents. So I see value in the covering.
There
But
is
it's-
conversation by
yeah.
people that there is value in that area as a whole and
Right.
making that an activated space. The Woodman is currently empty. There's been attempts on the city behalf, like, what are you doing in here? What could we do? Because that's missing some activation.
Right.
And then also we have Smoky Joe's, but if there's opportunities there,
Right.
could that whole area be activated? Maybe it was some multifamily housing, but so there's conversations. It's just evolving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I had a feeling somebody had talked about it, but every time I walk by it, I'm like,
Yeah.
"Oh, our sad little beautiful park needs a little love." Okay, those are my main ideas.
I feel like we should wrap up. Some.
Yep.
It is.
Can I come in with a thought that's been on my mind?
Sure.
With administrations and the concern about, protocols between staff and bodies here at the city. I definitely understand that with council, they're elected officials and that firewall, I get that, and I've seen that in various variations before in the last 30 years. One of my philosophies with this group when I was working with it was that we're an extension of staff and we're a backstop to staff to help plug in the holes in areas where they need help. So I don't know in your mind's eye what that would look like, but I would encourage you to chew on that a little bit and explore ways that this group can be utilized to be helpful to staff, especially when you're dealing with the shortages and everything. Whether it's like being able to run interference with neighbors and have a conversation over a beverage that maybe the city staff can't have, which has happened before in the past, and we've done that before, or other ways for us to help in a volunteer or for them
Yeah,
Sorry.
and you need bodies.
to help out in a volunteer capacity. And I kind of see it's sort of a silly putty thing, and you can mold it into whatever the needs are with the city. So
Yeah.
I just thought I'd throw that out there.
Well, and I think that's great. I'm going to jump off from that saying, yes, being a continuously evolving group is an important thing, I think, for every group, because what the right processes are right now and what the needs are right now are going to be different than they are from 3 years from now. So let's not say, oh, now we have this and this is what, let's keep our eyes open and keep talking about ways we can serve the community better and better. That's my hope and goal.
Okay.
Is everybody ready? We are adjourned. Thank you all for an amazing conversation. And
Thanks for leading us. Natalie, are we gonna see you in September?
bye.
Yeah.
See you. Thanks.
Yeah, I know.
I did the 20th, so
Maybe. Yeah, so, we're gonna like prop you up the stairs. Oh, yeah, we might push your back.
So.
We're in the city. We're gonna sit at the table.
Karen.
Or we could just eat you're outside downstairs.
Yeah, so like,
Why
guys
on responsibility?
I guess I was just thinking like that next meeting, but I guess if it's.
Yeah.
I'm.
Yeah.
Area and